Bub says he's got a big one right down in there. Get it for the mud does. Alrighty, we got perfect conditions today. It's been raining all day, probably a ½ inch of rain. Oh, there's a train. And the water's about as low as it's been all year, down about 21.1. It usually sits around 21.5 for good looking. And the water is still as glass. So we're gonna go down through here. I got the sifter today. We're gonna do a little surface hunting in most of these spots. And then when we get down here to a couple of these really good spots, we're gonna do some sifting. Alrighty, we ain't found nothing of note yet. We got some pieces of pottery and some flint shards. A lot of stuff's out, a lot of little chipped flint that's not normally out as much. So that rain's really exposed stuff. I've got Bub walking down through this rock bed to see if he sees anything out on the surface. And once he's done, I'm gonna start sifting in here. All right, first sift, we come out with a bunch of pottery there. And then just a little piece of flint. Nothing too major yet. Is that another piece? No, it's a rock. We'll throw this out. We'll get a couple more sifts in. We'll let you know when we do find something good. All right, I did a second sift. Found another piece of pottery and a couple spalled off pieces of flint. But nothing to write home about yet. Take a little break and do a little bit more surface hunting while I catch my breath. Here, a washed off piece of pottery right there. All right, let me see here. I told Bub, go down ahead of me and look. Make sure I didn't muck the water up. He found a nice one. Bottom's a little busted up, but you can see the working on that. Very nice. Out short, looks like it's glass. Douglas found some other thing. I don't know what it is. It's kind of translucent. Feels like it's made out of glass, but I'm not sure. Right there's a piece to a point. You see the working here on that side, just real small. What you got there, Bub?
Just fine.
Oh, I thought you had a scraper for a minute. I'll throw that one in your pocket. It's kind of a find. I mean, that is a piece to work point. So you see the working on the sides. We got this big area of rock right here I'm going to sift, and a little bit through here behind us. Hopefully we'll find something good in here. All right, moving the big rocks out of this. I see right now piece of pottery there. There's a bigger piece right there. Nice one. Get sifted through here. Hopefully we'll find something good. Douglas said he's got something good, but he's wanting to finish looking in the rocks over there. Then he's going to bring it and show me. All right, still no points on my end. That sift did pull up a bunch of good pottery. We'll throw it in the pocket. We're going to come down here and see what Douglas was talking about that he found. Yeah, it's the side to something worked. That's a tip. That's weird. It's like one of them crescent shaped things. It's worked on that side and worked over here. There you go, Bub. That's 3 for Bub, 0 for me so far. Thought I had something there, but it's nothing. All right, I'm on the board finally. It ain't as good as what Douglas found, but there's a worked edge to a blade or something big made out of some black flint. Just worked along that edge there. Alrighty. Beat my skunk today. Don't have a goose egg. Finally found a piece. Alright, I think I got something there. I'm not 100%. Kind of looks like a thumb scraper. That's about the only thing I've found sifting today that looks worked. And even it's kind of iffy. We'll throw it in the pocket and we'll keep moving. Where at? Bub says he's got a big one right down in there. Get it for the mud does. Oh. Yeah, it's like a celt or giant triangle. That's a real nice one. Real pretty too. Put that up to the sun. That's kind of translucent, but barely on the edges. There you go, bub. All right, Bub's really finding it. Surface hunting. I haven't found hardly anything sifting. Found 1 or 2 surface hunting. He's kicking my butt today. Alrighty, it's the spoils of a little surface hunting one. I tried some sifting, but this was a surface hunt through and through because I didn't find any of this in the sifters. 4 of these I didn't even find. I only found this one here. You can see where it's worked along that edge. Some busted scraper, the bottom to a rounded blade. I did sift up a bunch of debitage and pottery. A lot of that came out of the sifter. But 90% of what we found still came out of surface hunting that evening. It was a pretty good hunt though. Got a couple neat pieces in there. Stuff I gotta go back through and take a second look at before I put it in one of the flint jars. We got some big old pieces of pottery. There's some rim shards in here hiding somewhere. I can't remember where. I put all this stuff in here to kind of rinse it off, and I let it set in here and dry. Oh, here we go. Right there's a nice little rim shard there of pottery. Those are special pieces. Yeah, they're just harder to find. But like I said, I found that one, and then these 4 were all found by Douglas. We got a busted off tip. If I get it to focus in here, you can see where it's worked on that side. And then it just fractures right there. It just barely worked right through there. And then fractured through there too. I had him size it up with another kind of orangish artifact that had a similar fracture, but they weren't from the same piece. So it was pretty close though, because they're similar rocks and they came out of the same area on the beach. He also found this. It's kind of like a, if you look at it, almost looks like a top to one of those crescent blades. Like I have up here at the top. See those? That kind of reminds me of that, the way it turns to the side. And then he found, what's the bottom of a nice square blade, or maybe even one of those real thin celts. I'm not too sure. You can see some crystallization in there, like there was a geode in it. I don't know if maybe that's what caused it to crack. Maybe water got in it and it froze. You can see it's all through there too. And the find of the night, he pulled that nice little point out. I can't make of what it is. I think that's a sinew nub on that side. Over here. And then down here's the actual notching. I'll have to put it on Facebook though and confer with people that know a little bit better than I do. That thing is nice and sharp. But that's everything for this hunt. It was pretty good. I didn't do anything but get exercise in by sifting. All these were found on the surface. But we come out there with a good bit. I appreciate everybody watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.